I was gonna say, I don't know if you noticed, but the subscriber count has been going up pretty steadily.
Yeah.
I'm noticing about 10 subs a week right now, which is any few subs a week that you're getting regularly. That's a good consistent number to start with. At least it's consistent. Like, we know the channel's growing literally every day. It's a good feeling. Our sponsors today. We need Walmart to sponsor us or some. No, they're not anti-gun. Never mind.
I mean, they still sell it.
That's true. They do still sell it. Okay.
All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we just filmed quite a few actual videos back to back. You'll notice because Kyle and I will be wearing the exact same shirt during all of our
Back
videos.
to back. We shower. We just, knocking them all out in one day,
Yeah, while we've got all the stuff set up and we actually have time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, we do still work full-time jobs and everything.
Exactly. So if you would hit the subscribe button and help us out, one day we won't have to work full-time jobs.
I'll quit paying out of pocket.
This will be our
microphones.
full-time jobs.
But yeah, we actually just did a video on a few of these different items: the cleaning kits, the ammo box, oiling guns and cleaning them, and things like that.
Yeah, this was a really cool product, guys. Zach will put the link in the description, but if you need a good pistol clean kit, whether you're a beginner or whether you've been doing it for years, this is a really, really nice kit. You need to check out that video.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that purchase. It's going to be very helpful.
It was like $22.
Yeah, that was a good deal.
So super, and this, I'm telling you, this is one of the nicest kits I've seen. You definitely check the video out. I think you guys will definitely like it.
All right, Kyle, so it's time to get into our headline topics of the day.
All right.
Your house got struck by lightning.
Yes. So we, it was, what was it? Sunday? No.
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. Sunday night, right? Yeah. So Sunday night, big storm came through, and it was, it sounded like thunder, but like it was like it sounded like it was right there on my roof. Okay. And when it happened, half the breakers in my house tripped. Anyway, we were able to flip them back, and a few minutes later, like, the power went out for like a few hours. But the next morning, we got up, and we realized that I've got a tankless hot water heater, and it's actually displayed in the bathroom, so I can see and know that it's working. And it wasn't working, so I played with the breaker, and then I got some tools and tested the power, and realized that I had no hot water. So we had to do an insurance claim, and of course, that takes... It's a little process because you got to have estimates done, and so basically I've got a cold shower water right now. So I came up with a real crafty idea. The water troughs that you use for watering horses and cows, I turned that into a tub. I had one that I bought a few years ago for I was using it to store water for my chickens and stuff. But got it cleaned up real good and did a really nice fire. Zach will actually cut in a picture of it. It turned out amazing. The water was like, I think right around 104 is where I got it kind of.
Yeah, right around where you keep your hot tub at.
Exactly.
But he essentially took a watering trough and a fire pit in his yard and made himself a hot water bath.
Yeah, it was actually amazing. So what was really neat about it was so you get your water up to temperature, and then you want to keep it at that temperature. That's the thing a lot of people don't do. If you leave the fire going, it's going to get super hot, and you're not going to be able to be in it. And then if you put it all the way out, it's going to get super cold in a matter of 15, 20 minutes. So what I did was I just killed it down a little bit and it had hot coals, and I let that consistently heat the water. And it turned like it was the most relaxing bath ever. It was amazing. And when I get hot water back, I'm probably still going to do it.
Dude, it was like a weekend thing. Like, all right, man, I'm going to go take a bath in the yard, essentially. Well, it helps when you're on a pretty decent size, like, remote area. Because if I did that, my neighbors would call the cops.
Yeah.
It's like, some man's trying to boil another man in the yard.
Yeah, I actually made a joke with my daughter. She was watching. I got in the bath, and it was in the back porch area, and my wife and my daughter were sitting on the porch, and I told Yaz, and I was like, Mommy's trying to boil me alive. She's trying to make me into a soup. Yeah. JD's only 3, so she freaked out. She was like, Mama, don't make my daddy a soup. Like, she did. She freaked out. She was so mad.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
She always freaks out about stuff like that. Like earlier, we was at the restaurant. We went out to eat, and I stole her lemonade, and she was very upset. But I told her I'd sell it back to her for $1, and she handed me Kyle's debit card, and I swapped it.
Did I get my debit card back?
I gave it back to you immediately, man. I wasn't going to hold on your debit card.
I was wondering. I didn't remember if I got it back or not.
I gave it back to you. But yeah, that was funny. She swapped her debit card out for a lemonade that she'd already drank half of because I stole it.
Jeez Louise. Well, guys, we've got a lot of big things coming up. We're trying to really push a couple videos a week. That's the goal anyway. I don't know that if for some reason it doesn't happen, it should happen more than it should not happen.
It's his fault if it doesn't happen.
Exactly. We're going to be doing probably 50-50 between these style videos and the shooting videos.
And we'll try to mix them in together. Like anything we're unboxings we did here, but maybe if we're actually using the product out in the field.
Oh, exactly.
We'll cut back and forth a little bit as well. Like one of the videos we just did on light primer strikes, it's definitely going to have some of our shooting footage in there.
Yeah, we'll definitely, so the videos are going to get more consistent, guys, better quality. Zach's doing a great job with our editing. If you didn't check out, it was our first video we did together. It was a podcast style video like this, and
hopefully this audio comes out a lot better because I swapped out that old mic for an actual decent one. Now this is technically a streamer mic, and we're picking each other up on the audio. I'm gonna have to edit that. You may see us next week with some kind of blocking shield between the mics, but for right now this is working. We actually have a real tripod. Last time I was splicing a photo of what we did, but we had one on a handle that I shoved through a cardboard box and held together with some weights. But it held my phone still while we recorded some videos.
Yeah, we've definitely had to put some work in to do it. Zach's made a nice little studio here for us to do these videos. And
I've taken out a lot of the construction supplies that are back here so we can put some more stuff. And as we get more products for videos, we'll start displaying them in the background. And if you have any other suggestions for things, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, guys, if you come up with any ideas that you want us to maybe try to do, just put them in the comments below. If it's something reasonable and affordable, we'll do our best to make sure we can try to make it happen.
Yeah, because right now everything's still coming out of our pocket, which is, it's something we want to do. This is more of a hobby for us at the moment.
Yeah, but exactly.
We're pretty close to the monetization point, so we're trying to make a big push here at the end.
Yep, all we need, guys, is a little more watch time, and we are... Well, actually... So, we do have a couple of videos that are actually, we have ads and everything on. Since we hadn't reached our hour level yet, we're almost there. We haven't reached it yet, so we don't collect the revenue off the ads that are literally on our channel right now.
That's so frustrating.
And this has been, this ad on this particular video had ads for like a year. I remember I just clicked on my own video. It made me watch an ad for my own video.
Yeah, and I technically think that's actually even against like YouTube's rules if you do get paid. You're not allowed to watch your own videos and watch your own ads to get money. But like but if you're logged into your own channel and you click on your own video, it'll still feed you the ad.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
It's very frustrating, especially when you don't get paid.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so we got a new tripod, an actual tripod hooked up. We'll take a picture of it after this and maybe splice in a photo of it. We got a new flexible tripod as well. That way, potentially while we're out doing some shooting videos, we want to see if we can't flex it around a tree or something like that, see if we can't get it.
I kind of want to see this. This thing's super cool. I don't think I've ever seen one like this before.
Yeah, it was interesting. I saw it beside the regular one. I was like, for some of the purposes that we use it for, this could be a good idea.
Did you unbox it to see what it looked like? All right, well, we're going to be doing a talk unboxing just because this is interesting. What did you say this thing costed?
$19.99.
Oh, wow, that is so cool.
Oh, that is...
Dude, look at that. Tripod. That's really... That could be used for a lot, guys. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And like we said, if we're, like, outside filming, and maybe...
That looks like a robot.
Yeah, but if it's on an uneven surface...
Killer alien.
Still flex the legs.
Yeah, that's
to make
sweet.
It balance itself again. Unlike that one, if it's on an uneven surface.
Yeah, that one's got to be. This will be a good rugged little tripod for us.
Yeah, this will be good for filming out in the wild. And hopefully, if we got small trees, maybe we could like do some kind of like wrap it around kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See if it'll hold it like that.
If you guys have watched the channel for a while, you'll notice when I was. You notice when I was filming by myself, I a lot of times you guys were on a tripod, but the tripod I have has now been turned into a studio light tripod.
Yeah, we're using it to light up our faces.
Yep, we are getting fancy with it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 7 lights.
Yeah. We have quite a bit of lighting going, trying to get it balanced. It's a pretty dark basement, so getting everything.
Yeah, it's pitch black down here without these lights. Like, just about. It's really dark and creepy.
So if I was you, you take it back to your house and we'll test it out when we go do our shooting videos this weekend.
Yeah.
And then we can see how like I said, you can do the cross thing to wrap it around a tree, and then maybe like the top one to hook it on a branch, and then it'll hold itself, and then you hook your phone to it, and hopefully you can get you a decent angle on.
So, I didn't mean to do that. So speaking of shooting videos, there's something really cool that I want to do. Me and Zach's talked about it a little bit. So eBay body armor. All right. Now, here's the thing. I don't want to just buy, because there's nicer body armor on there. I want to buy the cheapest plate that you can fit in your standard plate carrier, and we're going to test it with some calipers, because if I'm not mistaken, I've got to find it again, but they did have one that was a soft body armor, like kind of like a Kevlar, for like $30.
Yeah, I looked into some options after you were showing me that, and there's a few actual survival items I want to review as well. I'll try to splice in some links that I've seen as well. There's one, it's a phone charger that is charged by a campfire.
Really?
Yes.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's a battery cell, or like a battery pack thing, but you throw it into a campfire to heat it, and it pulls electricity through the heat.
That is cool. How much is a product like that?
I want to say it was actually decently cheap. I want to say it was around $30, but
Wow.
I could be wrong with that.
That'd be very interesting. That'd be cool.
That was a cool one I saw. I saw a few different mask options and other things like that, like the actual like official gas mask things.
Oh yeah.
While I was looking at armor or other protection items and other different survival gear and things like that. So I was kind of looking into a video of how to generate electricity off the grid kind of thing. And that's where it brought up.
That's pretty sweet. That's cool.
I'm really curious about that campfire item.
Yeah, that's that'd be a new one for me. I never heard of that.
Yeah. Like I said, there's quite a few items I want to review. Right now, I'm buying them all out of pocket. So it's like, okay, how many items do I really want to review that do I actually need?
But if you guys want to help us out with getting products, all you have to do is go to our merch store and get some merch, and that'll help us out. I know right now it's a little slim picking, but we'll be working on getting that up a little bit. It just
we're still working on designs. Like I said, we fixed the studio a little bit. We set up the lighting. I've been doing some more video editing as well. We've got a whiteboard back there with video ideas that are helping us like while we're talking, and we've come up with a few new series ideas I feel like will be very helpful as well.
Oh yeah, we're trying to get it together for you guys so that way we can get good quality videos out and do it time efficiently also. The goal, guys, we want to really try to push for 2 videos a week. I'm thinking 1 video a week podcast style and 1 on the range, or testing survival gear or something like that. Yeah. I'm very excited for the testings we do have coming up, and then hopefully Easy Shoot will send us out some more cool stuff. They've been a big help with getting us products out.
Yeah, and I've reached out to a few different people about potential survival gear bags and things like that, and other products that maybe they're interested in, like letting us see. Like, we'll still pay for them, things like that, but maybe we can get you all a discount code if it's an actual good item. But what I've been thinking about here recently is buying like 2 or 3 from the cheap options. 1 from Amazon, 1 from Walmart, 1 from like I don't know, some cheap online stores like AliExpress or something like that. And then comparing them and reviewing how they work together. So if there's any kind of products like that you all are interested in, let us know. If you've been looking at a cheap item on one of these popular stores and you're like, well, I kind of like, it looks good, but am I better off going to one of these other cheap stores that got them for $2 more, but it might be a better overall product?
Yeah, that's definitely.
That was my thoughts on the process. That's what I'd like to do because, like I said, I've always kind of known about guns, been into them and stuff, but now I've been trying to get more into them, buying more of the products, learning more of the stuff. And there's things that I just simply did not know And a lot of people just don't cover them, or they make you feel stupid for asking the question.
Yeah, that's the big thing with a lot of gun guys. They can be real dicks. That's the best way to put it.
It is what it is, because it is a dangerous thing too as well. So I understand, because I've been around people that are like, they handle a gun, and if you see them start handling it wrong, they're like, hey, check out my new gun, or I swear I unloaded it, or we've been drinking all day, let's go check out my new guns. And I'm just like, man, I've been very rude to some people before, and because they're acting.
Well, yeah, if somebody is like that, yeah, but I mean, some of them, just generally speaking, like you go to a gun store and you got a question, some people are just.
Yeah, like, I can't believe you don't already know that. It's like,
especially, I notice a lot because my wife is also really into firearms, and I've noticed if we walk separate ways or something, maybe she's looking at something, they treat her like just because she's a woman, she has no clue what she's talking about, because there's a lot less women into guns than men, but still, it's like, it makes her like not want to ask questions, and it sucks.
Yeah, it's disappointing. I had a similar issue this week with me. Not this week. We took Alondra's car to go get the brakes changed and the oil changed, right?
Yep.
Just basic maintenance stuff. Now, I got this guy in town I like going to. Me and him always, we work out deals. I'll be like, all right, if I, pay you in cash, what's the actual number, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And me and him will negotiate back and forth, and he's done repair work, and he's good working on cars.
Yeah.
So I took her car up there for some basic maintenance. I was like, I'm not going to negotiate or anything like this. I'm just going to, drop the car off. It's a brake pad change and an oil change. It should be it'll probably be more expensive than if I took it through, like, a little drive-through Valvoline place or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I know they're going to treat her car well. They're going to do a good job, and they know what they're doing. I didn't tell them it was me taking the car up there. I let her take it up there. I let her sign all the paperwork. And these people came back and charged her over $600.
Oh, my gosh.
I was furious. I went off on these people. I was like, dude, have you lost your mind? And they're like, oh, we didn't realize you didn't call to negotiate. I was like, I don't care what you realized. You saw a woman by herself driving a nice car and thought to yourself that you're about to scam this woman out of $600.
That's shady.
I lost my mind on them for a while. Now, I was polite about it. They had already done the work. I paid them their money and then told them, I'm never coming back again. You've lost thousands of dollars in business because of this. I was like, I hope you feel proud of yourself. I'm going to tell everyone I know never to come here.
Yeah, that's one thing about business, especially in smaller areas like we live in. We don't live in no big cities or nothing. So in smaller towns, business is repeat and referral. If you don't get repeat customers or you piss off all the locals, then you're got a business.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I knew I had a little bit of a hint they were kind of like that, because they tried to pull some similar stuff on me. They kept trying to insist that I needed to swap, one part or another, but it was, and their reasoning for it, I guess they assumed I didn't know anything mechanical. They're like, oh, well, this could be the wrong pressure cap, or had the wrong PSI rating on this cap. I'm like, listen, man, it's either got the right one or the wrong one. What is it? Like, it clearly is marked on there. I can see it, but it was a $20 upgrade, and I'd already talked him out of $500 on the thing. So I was like, whatever. You want to throw a $20 cap swap on there? Sure. But I didn't think they were going to charge $600 for oil change and brakes.
That's what it was for?
Oil
change and brake pads. And was it front and rear or just...
It was just rear.
On which car was it? The Audi?
Yeah, the Audi. They insisted that she needed new rotors, even though...
That car's almost brand new.
It is basically brand new.
It did not need new rotors, man.
It did not. They kept saying, oh, we always swap out rotors with brake pads. I was like, well, you shouldn't be doing that.
No, brake pads wear out and you put new ones on. You don't replace your rotor every time.
Her oil changes are expensive, and he had decent reasoning for why his oil change was the price it was. His oil change was $208. Now, it's $120 if you go to the local Valvoline place, because it's that full European synthetic oil. Actually costs about $18 per quart, and her car takes 6 quarts.
So the oil was the reason it was so much, not necessarily the labor part of it.
Well, no.
It was 200 plus fluids.
It was no. It was fluids, and then about $100 in labor. But $100 in labor is about 40 minutes to an hour for a mechanic to do an oil change.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I was like, listen, man, you could have been swapping the brakes while the oil was draining. You know what I mean? That was the whole point of us bringing them up here. And they were trying to explain to me that they didn't have the right tools and they had to go do this, and it took them longer. And I was like, okay. So, yes, it did take you that long to do it. It shouldn't have if you had, been set up properly, but it took you that long to do it. But anyway, I digress. I'm not going to keep...
We're getting him worked up, guys. We're getting him worked up.
I just don't like it when they treat my wife like that when I'm not around.
Yeah.
There's a level of... I'm probably going to start taking her car to the dealership. It costs more money, but there's a level of peace of mind that she can go in there and nobody's going to try to rip her off or do anything like that they don't need to. Or do what these guys just did. Try to convince her to pay $600 for brakes and oil change.
Yeah. We see in this channel, we support our 1% of women.
Yes, we believe.
Yes, we've got about 10 female subscribers on this channel.
Hey, we're up to like 11 or 12 now. Oh. Because if you're still at 1%, where are we at? 1.1, 1.2?
Yeah, it's mostly, I think, so basically the YouTube analysis actually tells you your viewers. It tells me where you guys are viewing from, not your location, of course, but what country you're in, that sort of stuff. But it tells you your male and female percentage. But most of our audience is between the ages of like 20 to 40 is our, like, I think our big prime. Because anyone earlier than 20 usually can't afford guns or can't have, or not old enough to have or purchase them. And then anything past 40, is a lot of arrogant old people.
Well, I mean, they do have a lot to teach you and things like that. And I do like some older guns. Probably one of my favorite guns is my grandfather's gun. It's been in my family for 5 generations. I'm the 5th generation to have it. It's just a little 22. But, and that's the thing. It really depends on the personality type. A lot of people, as they get older, they don't want to learn new things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because you're right.
But there's a lot of things we can learn from them as well. So it is kind of a balancing act.
Yeah, it just depends the type of. Because I do sales, so I talk to a lot of older gentlemen. I talk to, and some of them don't know when to like they'll be in there for an hour talking, and I'm just like losing my train of thought with them. But shoot.
But at that point, it's personality types. There are certain personality types though that we run into in the gun industry. For the older people as well. Something
though that you mentioned, a lot of older guys have the older style guns. Just bolt actions or pump actions or older style semi-autos. A lot of older guys, they don't really have assault style weapons most of the time. My granddad, he's had guns all his life. He has several, but he doesn't have one semi-auto AR or AK or a Glock or anything like that. It's funny because when they talk about taking guns away, they get all worked up, but they don't even realize it's like those aren't even the guns they're after right now. They're after like the cool ones. They're not after your old grandpa's hunting rifle. Nobody. Yes, at some point I'm sure if the assault weapons ban ever went through, yes, they'd come for those next. But for right now, their primary focus is getting, the scary black weapons off the street.
Speaking of which, did you hear about the governor of, or was it a senator from California, the one who tried to do the 28th Amendment banning all assault rifles in the United States?
And California trying to ban it for the United States?
Yeah, he tried to pass a United States amendment, basically overruling the Second Amendment.
No way.
Yeah, he did. It was crazy. Yeah, it was one of the news topics I came across this week. I was like, that man has lost his mind. And most people agree. They're like, yeah, it was a big talking point on a lot of news stations this week.
Let me tell you guys something. We live in Tennessee, and that is probably that Tennessee and Texas would be the last 2 states to ever give something up. And the people here they ain't giving up shit. They ain't giving up nothing.
Yeah.
You gotta have to take it out of their hands.
It'll very much be the more remote rural areas along with some of the more prideful areas like ours. The Tennessee and Texas would be the more prideful areas. The remote areas would be like your Montana, Idaho, places like that. Places where it's like, listen,
It's pretty moderate.
Yeah.
they're heavily outnumbered by the cows that live there. They're not going to, like, if there's very low chance that anyone has their guns registered, let alone, there's enough cops to even try to take them kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and honestly, I know for a fact in Tennessee the cops wouldn't even they wouldn't dare to. If it was a law, they wouldn't dare it.
Yeah, because they're some of the biggest enthusiasts. They are some of the ones that have the most guns as well.
Well, not to mention they're smart enough to know that these codgers around here, son, they will shoot you. Okay, you talk about come taking their guns, you're gonna get shot.
Well, that's the thing. Elections always kind of fall around the 50 to 55% line, but because it is a 50 to 55% topic for like that, so even in the most anti-gun areas, if you still poll the whole nation, it'll be about 55% in favor. You still need 67% to actually make it pass.
Hey,
You need 2 out of every 3 people to want to ban every gun, which I don't see that happening.
No way. Now, in a couple generations from now, the way I've seen how the up and coming generations are, it is a lot worse.
They are more pressured and influenced, and it's part of their upbringing. I mean, we had similar stuff happen to us when we were younger. Like, I remember the first time that our school had a sex ed class. You know what they did? Instead of having a permission slip that your parents needed to sign, they gave you a permission slip that your parents had to sign for you to not take it. So if kids wanted to learn it, they would just simply not take the thing home.
reverse psychology.
Yeah, which is exactly what I did. But 'cause I had a lot of questions and I was curious. But essentially, schools will try to force stuff like this through by essentially doing things like that, relying on the kids to kind of essentially trick their parents into letting them learn it.
One thing, Zach, I actually saw this recent week about I don't know if it's passed or not, but I actually heard Biden speaking about it, about how making it legal for kids, people under 18 to change surgically change their genders.
Children.
I've seen a lot of stuff
That's
about
sick.
that. I've not dug too deep into it.
I don't want to dig any deeper than what I saw.
It kind of makes me sick to think about stuff like that, because I don't really. You don't know what's going on in someone's head as far as but I kind of know how children act.
Yeah, you can't let a child.
Make that kind of life-changing decision.
Exactly. That's like having your child get a tattoo on their forehead.
Yeah, there's a reason you got to be 18 to get tattoos. And I mean, there's people that'll give you a tattoo before you turn 18. I got mine at 17.
My buddy Ansel got one at 13 right here.
Yes. But there's a reason we do these things. It's because your prefrontal cortex doesn't fully develop until you hit certain ages. And it hits certain levels of development as you age. Especially it's different for boys and girls as well and things like that. And it does feel like they are trying to force a lot of these topics onto children at an earlier and earlier age.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of rainbow.
Yeah.
So much the Skittles turn white. Did you see those Skittle packs at Walmart where they turn them white? Yeah. Well, for Pride Month, Skittles. They've been doing this for a few years now. The Skittles packs turn white, and every flavor's all white. But now instead of it just being that, it actually on the Skittles on the picture. No, I'm sorry, not on the Skittles. They have a circle. It looks like a Skittle, and it says trans power on the Skittles. I actually have a photo on my phone because I saw it and I was like, what the hell? And I took a photo of it because I never saw that before. I've always saw we take the colors for the gay people. It's okay, Zach. Our people are, our subscribers know what we're talking about. Because to be honest with you, those type of people really, I've never noticed into this type of stuff. We kind of are stereotyped to hate that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I try not to hate anybody. If someone's an adult and they want to make those kind of choices,
whatever.
More power to you.
It don't bother me a bit, but I don't want to be involved with it, and I definitely don't want nobody trying to pressure my child into it, you know.
Yeah, and that's what that's actually big in gaming news. Actually, this week was Nick Merckx. He's a famous streamer, plays Call of Duty a lot. He retweeted at a guy who was talking about schools teaching children about transgender issues. And he basically said, leave the children alone. I want to teach my children about this issue. I don't want the schools to teach my children about this issue.
Yeah, that's...
And Call of Duty dropped him. Or they dropped his... They had a bundle for sale on their game where you could buy a skin that looked like him and like special guns, special like stuff that was related to him.
Wow.
They completely cut him out. They had him and another streamer named Tim the Tatman. Tim the Tatman went and stood with him and basically was like, listen, if you're going to take his over that stance, then take mine off as well. And a few other popular streamers like Dr. Disrespect, they've just uninstalled the game entirely.
Wow, so if you're not on that side of the fence, then you're just... Wow, that's crazy, though. These people that design all this crazy shit, like Call of Duty, that's supposed to be like a cool, fun...
Yeah, it's supposed to be a video game about war.
Yeah.
And they literally took a stance of you should be allowed to, like, schools should teach, you know, elementary age children what it is to be transgender.
You're gonna be busting on those. What's it called when you team deathmatch? What's it called? What's that called? The multiplayer?
Yeah, team deathmatch.
Team deathmatch. Trans power. That's what the
logged
bots are gonna
into
scream.
If you've logged into a Call of Duty lobby, there's a lot more awful stuff screamed into the mic, but
Oh my gosh, yeah. But I mean, like they make trans bots. You don't see any trans bots. Wouldn't it be fun? Like have like a he/she bot with a.
honestly, it's probably gonna happen at this rate.
Oh my god, it's going to. It's something. It really is. We live in a very
Yeah, we live in a strange time.
yeah.
And that's the thing too. Did you know? I don't know if they were able to fund it, but Tennessee is attempting to be the first state to refuse government funding for their schools and attempt to pay for them entirely by themselves, so they can cut out Common Core curriculum and other things that the federal government is attempting to enforce.
Really?
That way, they can do their own state level.
Don't have to do the
education.
trans pride things, teaching
If
our
they don't
kids
want
about.
to, they can choose to back out of that kind of stuff because the federal government can't withhold funding because they're going to fund themselves. Now they'd be the first school.
See,
They'd be the first state to attempt it, and it would be difficult for a lot of them to afford because I mean it simply is expensive to do a lot of that stuff.
oh yeah, absolutely. Did you know that they changed the Dixie Stampede's name
Yeah,
to the Dolly Parton Stampede?
yeah, they took Dixie out of it
Because it
that's what
offended people.
Yeah, that's what the Dixie Chicks did as well. They call themselves the Chicks now.
That's a little over the. I don't think that. How could it probably just offended a bunch of white people? No, because
I think it happened during 2020 when a lot of racial tension was going on around like the murders and the cop stuff. They just took a lot of Southern logos out of things.
yeah. That's just. I think that's kind of ridiculous. What? How does Dix? What? I mean.
Dixie literally refers to the area, basically. I want to say it actually comes from south of the Mason-Dixon line is what they're talking about, but the Mason-Dixon line is actually way in the northeast, which is what kind of confuses a lot of people. I don't know 100% on that one, but Dixie typically is referred to as the South, which is where the Confederate States were.
Exactly, but that doesn't make it racist to piss everybody off.
Actually, I don't know where Dixie comes from, so I
but-
kind of want to look at
But listen, when people is it Dolly that sings the song "The Heart of Dixie" or something? That you're right. A lot of when people say it, a lot of times it is referring to southern states.
Yeah, but it's referring to a geographical area, not necessarily a mindset or a particular law or a type of behavior. It's referring to literally a geographical area.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous that I was like, man, this is Tennessee is different from a lot of states. Tennessee really is a lot more. I guess free is the way to put it. I mean,
we are one of the single most conservative states in the United States.
well, if you're coming to Gatlinburg and stuff, you're coming to see all the mountain hillbilly style stuff. So Dixie kind of goes with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's literally like
There's banjo pickers at the Dixie Stampede.
what's the name of that one? It's like the very first billboard you see if you pull off 407 on the right. It's like the hillbilly something.
Oh, you know about half the McCoy show, are you?
Yeah, but they also call it something else. They have that one and they have another one. I want to say it's like Hillbilly Golf or something like that.
Oh, there's a hillbilly golf, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean they lean into
It's all that kind of theme. It's all supposed to be like mountain hillbilly themed, like
Yeah,
the
people
music you hear, the displays.
people that live in old log cabins with no electricity and an outhouse.
And where we're talking about, guys, this is like right next to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. This is actually, it was, I don't know if it still is, it was like the #1 tourist destination in the United States for a little while.
I want to say it was like top 5 worldwide at one point.
Yeah, see, it's ridiculous. So, but people come for that theme. So, like the Hatfield McCoy Dinner Show, that's literally,
To buy the moonshine or
Yeah.
yeah.
there's moonshine stores everywhere.
And I mean, it's a popular thing because actually, I noticed this too when I actually lived in Florida for a little while. Anytime I talk to people about the area I lived at, they're like, yeah, I love going to vacation in Gatlinburg. And I'm like, okay, so a lot of people that live near the beach actually like vacationing in the mountains.
Yeah, and I like going to the beach. But yeah, because I don't, was
It's
it
kind of like an opposite thing.
that day when we went out to Florida? Remember, we was at the bar that one night, and did those people say they'd been to Gatlinburg or something?
That was one of the first things they said.
That's what I
we
thought.
love vacationing in Gatlinburg. It's a popular topic for a lot of people.
Yeah, we're actually, I used to live Sevierville, which is about, well, from where I was I could get to Gatlinburg about 30 minutes. But it was nice. But the terrain's actually, I'm a little bit more northeast now than I was, so the terrain's actually a lot different than the Smoky Mountains.
Yeah.
Did you know, this is interesting, this is somebody, so Yasmin's sister's husband, he likes like conspiracy style stuff. And did you know that when the Ice Age happened, okay, certain parts of the Smoky Mountains were so high up and elevated, the temperatures were a little bit better, and there was animals that what's it called when they migrated to these places. And then whenever the Ice Age had started melting or something, it got too warm for them to come down. So supposedly there's certain spots on the Great Smoky Mountains that these species only exist there at the tops. It's pretty interesting. I'll send you the video.
That would be an interesting topic. I know there's always rumors, especially from the hunters and stuff in this area.
About different
Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, you hear about Bigfoot, but you also hear about like, they talk about there's a panther, or there are panthers in the.
I've heard of being Black Panthers. I have, even where I live now, my neighbors claim to have seen one years ago.
My dad claims to have seen one. I mean, that's what they named Panther Creek State Park after. That the guy who found the area claims he killed a panther there.
I believe it. I think they're probably well, for one, they're probably very rare, but also they're so cool.
If a dark big cat wants to hide from you in the mountains,
It can hide because a deer can hide from you just about.
yeah. Now, with trail cams and things like that, you'd think you would catch more images of them nowadays, but even then, if they're deep enough, and there's some areas in the Smokies where,
Well, they're completely uncharted either because the terrain's really rough and nobody wants to walk it because one, there's bears out there.
Yeah.
And
panthers apparently.
and there's mountain lions too. I know there's mountain lions, and
Isn't that a thing that they think there's? I think TWRA or somebody like that claims that there are no mountain lions in Tennessee.
that's a lie.
They say there are large like bobcats and large cats, but there are no mountain lions. I don't think that's true. I've seen some photos.
That's not true. Yasmin actually took a photo of a mountain lion. She's got it on her phone. It was a big mountain lion. Yeah. I actually asked her, I was like, where did you take that picture? The zoo? She's like, no, this was on Jones Cove. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it was in the field. I was like, and I swear, dude, I thought it looked like a zoo lion or something. It was more like a tiger, not a lion. It looked more like a tiger.
Oh yeah, I've seen some big cats in this area. I've been taking some back roads, heading towards like St. Clair area. It's been a while since I've been up there, but I was taking a back road one day back in like 10 years ago or so, and it was getting kind of late, but not really late. It's like late evening, like the sun was still full, but it was kind of in your eyes when you're driving. And I would turn the corner to go down a road, and I saw a big black cat climb across and jump up the thing. Now, I think this one, it wasn't quite big enough to be like a panther or nothing like that, but it was way bigger than a house cat. So maybe whatever it was, I don't know exactly, but I've seen some weird animals in this area. And stuff you wouldn't expect for how like actually decently populated the northeast area is of Tennessee. I mean, at one point we tried to start our own state. We tried to become a state of Franklin. And I think it literally ran to like the Mooresburg line, like where you live now would still be part of the state of Franklin.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
And there's actually, if you head up towards the Bristol area, you'll find signs and things like that that say State of Franklin Bank and State of Franklin shops and things like that. But just because people like to remember that history, they wanted to name it after Benjamin Franklin.
Benjamin Franklin,
Oh, yeah.
the electric guy, right?
He also invented the the fire department or something like that. He started the fire department.
Hey, you know what I actually saw? We went to Dollywood last weekend. Or no, not weekend. We went this Tuesday. Went this Tuesday. I went to Dollywood, and they have a roller coaster, an indoor one that's the firehouse one. It actually had a picture of what fire truck. It wasn't a fire truck. It was a fire wagon. It was a wagon built like a fire truck that horses would pull. It looked heavy as shit. Like it was all steel, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like it looked like so many contraptions. It was insane looking. See if you can find an image and upload it on there.
I'll see what I can do.
It's interesting looking. I didn't know that it existed before trucks. Besides like a water container or something.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was something else I was going to say. Yeah, well. It's getting kind of late. I'm trying to remember everything.
Well, guys,
Yeah, this has been fun.
yeah, this was more of our talking podcast. We really didn't have a exact thing we were going over. If you guys like this type of video, let us know, because it is fun to kind of just venture into different things other than guns sometimes.
Stay up to date on the news topics, what's going on in our life.
Trans power, that kind of stuff.
Speaking of which, if you have any news topics or anything you would like us to discuss, then feel free to post it in the comments. We can sit there and talk about what's going on in our world as far as that kind of stuff is concerned.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to give you the standard LA, New York news media version of the story.
I do have one other thing that I want to touch on before we go. Did you see that Donald Trump got arrested?
No, he's in court this week, or he was indicted on several charges.
But were these the charges that he already was arrested for, or is these different charges?
This is about the January 6th stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's why he was arrested again for court, or what?
Yeah, essentially. You get arrested, then you bail yourself out, and then they have to arrest you first, essentially.
No matter what, surely to God we want to at least have Joe Biden back in office again.
I hope to God.
I don't understand how, even if you are a complete left-wing person, how you'd still vote for that man. It makes
I don't
no
think
sense.
that anybody left-wing actually really wants necessarily Joe Biden to be president. I think
you
they
have a
just
problem.
don't want Trump to be president.
Well, I'm telling you, even if you hate Trump, Joe Biden's making us look pretty weak, guys. We're getting pushed around by all the other countries. We do. I feel like you need a strong leader if you want to come off as a strong country. If you have Joe Biden stumbling and shit and tripping all the time over air, it doesn't make us look too strong, guys.
Honestly, I feel like we should do some kind of intelligence-based thing. I don't know how we keep electing people in their 70s and 80s.
Exactly. We need a badass looking president, looking like Dwayne Johnson or something. Make America look American.
That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious, right? Some big ass Dwayne Johnson.
I want somebody who agrees with me, but when it comes to politics, it's this weird thing too. You're never going to
Fully agree with someone.
Well, not just that. You're never going to be able to write a law that benefits all 330 million Americans. Because we're all in different situations in life where we all need different things. And there's a reason certain Democrats live in cities. Because their problems are city-based problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you live in an area where the average police response time is 90 seconds or 2 minutes, yeah, maybe you don't need a gun in your house. If you live in an area where, the average police response time is an hour, you better have something to take care of yourself. You better be able to survive on your own.
Or these people that live in these really bad cities,
you still want something to protect yourself. But that's why,
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like the bad cities like Portland and, where it's just rough. There's drugs everywhere on the, people smoking crack on the sidewalks. Yeah. There's some videos I saw on YouTube, and it's really, really bad.
Yeah, and they're like experimenting with letting people just do whatever drugs and what they...
Exactly. Yep.
It's an interesting concept overall, but at the same time, it's like you kind of know what people who do drugs are like.
Yeah, and there's needles all over the place, and I saw a guy, he did like a 20-minute walk, and there's no way I'd walk through there without having some sort of firearm on me.
Yeah, something to protect yourself.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, somebody's trying to take my life, I'm gonna...
Yep. But there's a reason, like I said, Democrats tend to live in cities because cities tend to have the problems that Democrats try to solve kind of thing. But at the same time, and that's why more Republicans live in remote areas, because we care about things like, guns and things like that.
Or land.
Yeah. Stuff that it makes sense for our geographical area and the people we're around, the laws fit us better.
Yeah, that makes good sense.
But that's part of the reason, too, why it's not really supposed to be... Okay. This one's kind of like a sketchy topic for a lot of people, states' rights versus, like, the federal government. Who should overrule who? Because the last time we had a big fight about it, it was over slavery, which was a stupid one to take a stance on. It's like, listen,
fair enough.
Because they chose slavery to be that, standing point of states' rights versus federal rights. It's like now anybody who pulls for a states' right looks really fucked up. But at the same time, there's certain things where, like, let's say you do want to live in Colorado so you can smoke weed. Technically, that is still illegal federally. Technically, the federal government should be able to crack down kind of thing. But that is a states' rights versus federal rights thing.
Yeah.
And I agree with states' rights being able to overrule a lot of things, essentially. And I believe the federal government really should only exist for infrastructure and defense, essentially. And there's a few other things like that, but basically, essentially, military and infrastructure. I'm going to go ahead and cut this video off because we've probably been talking for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think we have.
All right, guys. Tune in next time. I'm going to cut a lot of this stuff out because Kyle went on several horrible racist rants.
Be sure you check out the merch store, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to push that on every video till you guys buy some.
Yeah. Speaking of which, hopefully my shirts will be here in the next couple weeks. We'll have our coffee mugs and stuff in. You can see how it looks on somebody who's...
Yeah. We're going to look real good, guys. We got our dad bods going.
You can see how it looks on the Army Green. Y'all have a good weekend. I'm gonna get busy with it right now. I'm gonna get busy with the witty right now.
Transpowered.